quote unquote brother Hassad and Deacon Hakah, y'all sold out heavily and it's sad. Y'all messed up severely. You want to include other people into salvation, the other nations, the heathen, the goyim. You want to include people that have a problem with your God, have a problem with your people, and say that they can receive salvation. That's nuts. There's no way. There's no way. No, it's not in the scriptures. You want to save people that have a hatred for you and your own people. You had to have taken a bag or something, or the Lord just gave you over to a very strong delusion. But let me get started and say Shalom. All praises be to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel who endure all things for. Shalom to all the Akim. Wa Aquathim who believe on Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai until the bitter end. I say once again, Shalom. And Shalom, brother Yawanathan, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Barakatah Malak. Yeah, man, I just wanted to get this video out. It's not going to be too long. It's not going to be too drawn out. It was just in my spirit to want to talk about how Yahweh and Yahweh Shai are our deliverers. They are our saviors, and nobody else is going to do that for us except for them. The other nations are not going to save the nation of Israel. The heathens are not going to save us. Our oppressors are not going to save us. Our evil, wicked twin brother is definitely not going to help us at all. He wants to use his sword against his brother Jacob, and he's sharpening his sword every day. And it's only magnifying itself because of all the drama, the different issues that you hear about online, the different quote unquote race catastrophes and race civil unrest. It's only magnifying worse our wicked evil twin brother and their hatred towards their own brother, which is Jacob. Jacob and Esau, us being Jacob, blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, and the nation of Edom, which are we call today as the Caucasian race or the white man today. And all they're going to do is simply look at what's going on when it comes to our nation, and they're going to continue to manifest that hatred that they've had for so long, the perpetual hatred. And right now, all we can really depend on, and for myself, is the Lord and nobody else. Let me get this. I got a couple of scriptures lined up, and I just want to get it. Again, it shouldn't be too long. You see, our people, they've always depended on everybody else, other gods, other nations, besides their very own, which is crazy when you think about it. It's like you're the holy people, you're the separate people from the Lord Himself. You're the apple of His eye, and you're not even considering the fact that you have all the answers that your heart wants and desires, but you simply refuse to acknowledge Yahweh and the only begotten Son, our big brother, Yahweh. And that's why the nation of Israel is a lost sheep. They're scattered throughout the world. They're scattered because of their iniquities, their sins, and just replacing everything that's righteous with wickedness. And that's all right because the Lord has everything. Salaki has everything planned out perfectly. It was all meant to be this way. And that's why we seek Him for refuge. Oh, Salaki. Deuteronomy 7 and 9. Know therefore that Yahweh thy God, He is power, the faithful power. Bear with me, sneezing now. Which keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him, and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations. And the only people that were given that covenant is the nation of Israel, the descendants of the sons of Jacob, the 12 patriarchs, and those descendants of those sons. Those are the Israelites. And they happen to be today calling themselves Negroes, uh, Native Americans, Hispanics, Latinos, things of that nature. And this all was predestined to happen over a period of time. And we didn't show our love towards the Lord because we disobeyed everything He's ever told us to do. We made a covenant that we wouldn't break none of the commandments that He bestowed upon us, but we refused it and decided to follow the ways of the other nations. And that's what really messed us up. That's Satan. I was just perfectly fine before this stream. Now I just got like an allergy attack out of nowhere. That was very uncalled for. Verse 10, and repayeth them that hate him to their face to destroy them. He will not be slack to him that hateth him, and he will repay him to his face. And that's how you know the Lord is what you people call a so-called black man, a Negro. He's the same exact way. That's how Judah gets down, face to face, not online, trying to be a badass persona. None of this stuff. Judah is all about face to face, and really the rest of the tribes. But that just shows you how fierce and how to the face the Lord is with his judgments and his vengeance and his indignation. He wants to show out his power. And just like Jake in the world, they want to show out their swag. They want to show out how much flavor they got, the salt that they got. It's the same thing with Yahweh. He wants to show out, especially his only begotten son, Yahweh Shai, the first spirit ever created. That's literally the ultimate Israelite on earth, Yahweh Shai. In Deuteronomy 33 and 27, the eternal power is thy refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms. And he shall thrust out the enemy from before thee, and shall say, destroy them. And that's exactly what Yahweh Shai is going to do in these last days when he makes his second return. He's going to thrust through all of our enemies. Everybody who hated the nation of Israel, subjugated us in the ancient world, and to this day, with payments, with debts, with long, grueling hours, heavy taxes, just giving us a very harsh time on this earth. And they know who they did it to. They did it to the same people that they hate so much, more than anybody else on this earth, which is Yasharallah, the He Prince Power, He Prince God, the people closest to the creator himself. And the fact that people think it's a joke, like it's not a big deal of what happened to us as a people being at the bottom. Nah, it is a huge deal. It's very serious. It's very severe. And somebody has to pay for it. And the tab has reached its very, very height. Especially how it talks about that in Revelation 18. It reached the height of heaven. The wickedness has exceeded way too much, both with the other nations and even our own people who want to be just like everybody else, lost in the sauce, always wanting to cling to the powerless, lifeless idols, which was the first commandment we were not supposed to go and break, but we did it anyways. Verse 28, Israel then shall dwell in safety alone. The fountain of Jacob shall be upon a land of corn and wine. Also his heavens shall drop down dew. Israel's always going to dwell safely. But it starts with the elect, of course, because we understand that a large majority of Israelites are not going to understand this truth. They're not going to understand who they really are. Most of them actually heard about this truth, but they refuse to listen. They refuse to acknowledge righteousness. And that's why the Lord has to show out his power, just like he did aforetime, breaking down so many different kingdoms, showing out his power in ancient Egypt. In a multitude different ways, the Lord is going to show out in these last days. His power is going to be magnified throughout the whole earth, and nobody's going to have anything to say other than he is a power of the Israelites, and he's a terrible demon like God who deserves all the respect and fear. Because there's no fear of the Lord in this earth at all, except for those who are the hopeful elect, who are truly sincere in their fear towards Yahweh. Verse 29, happy art thou, O Israel, who is like unto thee, O people saved by the Lord, the shield of thy help, and who is the sword, Salakia, of thy excellency, and thine enemies shall be found liars unto thee, and thou shalt tread upon their high places. And that's going to be a thing of the current situation. Shalom to Angel Padilla, Yahweh Bashim Yashai, Barakatah Akia. It's hard to comprehend, being in this flesh, being in this world, especially knowing our people at the bottom, that this whole idea of us coming up with power, the next world to come, and people just be like, nah, that's not gonna happen anytime soon. You people, you're gonna be the next rulers of the world. Hey, Lord's will. I know I'm an Israelite, but I hope I do. And I know for a fact it's gonna happen. Because it's written in the scriptures, Yahweh is not a man that he should lie. Everybody else be lying. Everybody else be saying a good game. Everybody else be saying something that sounds so nice. But the Lord has always been guaranteed in everything he's ever said. Now, of course, it's not always going to be a particular order. Well, actually, it is going to be in a particular order, but we don't know how it's going to be carried out. That's the only difference. And that's why our refuge is Yahweh and our big brother, Yahweh Shai. Nobody else. The other gods of the other nations, they're fake. They're lifeless. They're powerless. They have nothing significant about them. Just like Elisha mocking the gods of the other nations, mocking the gods of whoever. They're all on vacation. All your gods are nothing but sticks and stones. They're not even real. They're just a figment of your imagination. You just woke up one day and decided to, you know what? I'm gonna just create the statue and I'm gonna use this hammer and sickle and just break down this steel. That's you nations, and that's even our own people just creating a god out of their own heads. And our God is a real life God. He's timeless. He surpasses time itself. And that's why we seek him as the refuge, because he only cares about one group of people alone, and that's Israel. Nothing else. Not those gutter rats in 1948 who call themselves Jewish, who they have no rights to that land to begin with, but that's neither here nor there. The point is, Israel, of the 12 patriarchs, their descendants are going to be saved, and they're going to have refuge from all the disasters that's going to be brought upon this earth in very due season, because the it's time for the Lord to start working more and more, and to put down all the evildoers that continue to act like this world is going to go on forever. Let me get this, and I'll end out. Psalms 119 and 126. Matter of fact, let me start at 124. Deal with thy servant according unto thy mercy, and teach me thy statutes. And we were given the law, statutes, and commandments from the Lord himself. I am thy servant. Give me understanding that I may know thy testimonies, and our wisdom and our understanding the sight of the nation, Deuteronomy 4, which is the Torah. If we keep them, we prosper. If we don't keep them, we fail. That's true success, and that's what true failure is. If you can't follow and obey the Lord, well, you're gonna fail. You want to fail? Go right ahead. I mean, when Masha said it, choose you this day, life or death. If you choose death, you're failing. If you choose life, you're succeeding. The Torah is the commandments, is the doctrine of life. It's in the book of Sirach. The point, it is time for thee, Yahweh, to work, for they have made void thy law, and we are in one of the most wicked generations to ever exist. Nobody cares about righteousness. They might act like they do, but they really don't. It's all about what feels good at the moment, what feels right to their own flesh. There's just no sense of urgency to do what's right anymore. And people may say, "Oh, I have morals and this, that, and the third," but we understand that it's not focused on what's written, "Thus saith Yahweh." So we only have to take what they say with a grain of salt. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them at all, completely. Therefore, I love thy commandments above gold, yea, above fine gold. And even King Solomon said that he desired wisdom. And that wisdom is to have the knowledge of just about everything on this earth. And that's heavy. He desired that more than his own riches, his own status, his own wealth and material possessions. He wanted wisdom way more than anything else. And especially in these times, wisdom is going to be the stability of our times. Matter of fact, let me get it. I don't want to butcher it. I'm gonna end it out here. And nobody's going to save us besides the Lord. Isaiah 33 and 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of Yahweh is his treasure. Nothing else is going to save you from all the evils that the Lord's going to bring upon this earth, besides following his ways, having his knowledge, and remaining sane in an insane society. That's all we got to do. Let everybody else get their bunkers, get all the ridiculous amount of toilet papers and all these other various things that's not going to help them at all during the time of Jacob's trouble. Let them get what they got to get. Now, is that to say you shouldn't stock up on certain foods and water and clothing? I didn't say that, not even once, but don't use those things as a means to safety. Just do it because, why not? It doesn't hurt to have a little bit for yourself and for your loved ones if you have any. Because at the end of the day, the Lord is the one who kills, who makes alive, who delivers, who brings redemption, and who destroys. He does all of that. Deuteronomy 32 says it. So if you're on his right hand side, you're going to have a great chance at receiving salvation. If you're on the left hand side, it's going to be lights out very easily because the Lord doesn't play with me. The Lord doesn't play with you. He doesn't play with nobody. He's not a respecter of persons in judgment. And that's what makes him very scary. That's why we all have to fear him. I have to fear him. And knowing everything he's ever done in the ancient world, and still to this day, he commits judgments every day, every morning. It happens. And there's no way you're going to escape judgment. If he's predestined you to get a certain wrath from him, it's going to happen. And that's why we fear the Lord. And with that, I want to say, call Halayim La, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, and Shalom.